What's going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing very well, and thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Bayou Gold Guy. I am Bayou Gold Guy, and we are just now getting to our first bag of pay dirt for August. I really appreciate those of you that stuck with me and took the Friday night last couple of weeks. I had to do work videos because I just didn't have time between the rain and the work I was doing. I didn't have time to get out here or a dry period to do it. Our rain is already come and gone today. We are still in the monsoon season down here. But I have the gold bag that came in, which you know what that always means. There's only one company that puts out the gold bag. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into this one because there's going to be some picking required as we turn to our new gold epicenter of South Louisiana here once again for some RJ's Gold and Gem Pay Dirt. It comes in a Ziploc bag for us. They always throw in an extra vial, a new vial to put for your stuff. And they always include a very nice little note on it there. Thank you again for the order. God bless Eric and RJ. And you can see we've already got some cool stuff showing up in there. Polished stones, some gems, all kinds of stuff. Last bag I got from them, they sent me this beautiful... Here they had a note, sorry for the delay, got called out of town for work, and I didn't really note any delay. They always get their stuff out very quickly, but they sent me this beautiful copper, I guess I should turn it the right way now, copper coin. And that's the first one I've gotten like that. And the first bag I ever got from them, I had, which is one of those... what are they called? The benzo quartz. You basically grow them with Pepto-Bismol, but very cool. But that was in the first bag I ever got from them. But yeah, that cubic shape, and you can see how the crystal's growth comes out from the center and stair steps all the way up. Very awesome. And then the tons of all the gems and beautiful stuff that we've gotten over the year. Actually, it's been over a year now since I first started doing RJs. And it's always fun to go through, and you get some beautiful gold with it. So let's go ahead. And then first thing you see, there's a bunch of... Well, maybe I have the camera right. There we go. We got some polished gems coming out at the top there. I see some tiger's eye and some of the other varieties. So we'll go ahead and start by going through, shaking out our little stuff. There's a lot of... All right, check that out. I was just talking about it, and look at there. We've got another one. This is like the 4th or 5th bag I think I've done of this. I got one in the very first bag. So, yeah, it's rare to get those to pop up, but how nice is that? So cool. And, yeah, you can see the effect, the rainbow coloring effect there. It comes through on it, and that's actually a double. It's got the stair step on that side where it matches. So that's very... And then look, it's almost like a little slot there. That is awesome. Oh, we got us a fossil. And then a handful of some very nice... I think that's one of those... I believe that's one of those manufactured, like the gold that has that. I'm not sure, but it looks like the same. May not be. It may be. Maybe that's a natural rock that polishes up like that. But it's very blue and very cool looking. Some peacock ore, some quartz. I forget, that's olivine, I think, with the green marble. So always a very cool variety of stuff that comes in these bags, and it it gets down small. You want to have your tweezers to go through it. But again, a nice variety. There's some tiger's eye, some quartz with stuff in it. Is that the same? No, that's a different. That's probably, that looks more like soapstone type. A very blue soapstone. Yeah, you can see there's a big difference between one and the other. Oh, and that one's actually got a chip in it. Sometimes you can see it'll show a different color from one side to the other, but yeah, compared to the side by side, the one that I think that's a soapstone. But they're cool rocks. And again, there's some pyrite. There's always some nice chunky cubic pyrite in these bags. More peacock ore. Is that a tiger's eye? There's a tiger's eye next to it. It just has that lighter look to it. And these normally come with about, there's another nice, I think that's soapstone. I've polished some of it. It always looks kind of different depending on where it's coming from. Nice, yeah. There's usually some nice chunks of copper. So yeah, it's a fun. Like I said, this is a great bag to have if you got some kids. You know, you get a couple of bags. These are $40, postage paid. Oh, and like I said, usually it's a 1/4 gram of gold or thereabouts in it. Of some, some not tiny gold either. I mean, it's not hard to recover it. Then we got some amethyst, polished amethyst. So very nice. There's our fine stuff. We'll go ahead and get, oh crap, it's been so long, I forgot. That's our, hell, what did we do last? Oh, I think that's from Gold Nugget Sales, right? I think that's what I did last. It's been 2 weeks. Who remembers that? But yeah, that needs to dry. That's what I do. I let it sit out here, and it evaporates in the sun rather quickly. In a day's time, that can go from being that much water in it to the end of the day dry. And if I come out and stir it around a couple of times. So let's get some water and we'll check out our material. Right, well, I went through, picked out a bunch. Oh, dropped a couple there. Now I got my hands. Went through and picked out a bunch of our polished gems. You see, we've got a very nice variety there. Come on, there we go. Nice variety there. And then, of course, we've got our first batch. They always look better once you get them wet. Our new bromine crystal, very cool. So yeah, again, there's our fossil. Look at the colors on that one. That looks like a patchwork. Up with the iridescence, it's almost like opal there at the top. That's very cool. So all right, well let's move it there. Get our small stuff out of the way here. Actually, I feel like there's more I might have done. Should have done this. Oh, that's why I'm sitting here using the wrong pan. Why does it seem so claustrophobic? That's why I don't like these little pans. They're just too small for me. There we go. That's more like it. Still a good amount of fine material in there. So yeah, I got this bag in June, and I had it in just a few days. $40 a bag. Like I said, it's a great one for the kids. Get a couple of them, and if you got multiple kids, get them a little ID chart so you can identify your minerals and the different types of rocks and quartzes and crystals that will show up in here. Kind of introduce them to some science and geology. But I know when I was a kid, I'd have thought it was a lot of fun if I had a chance to go through this and like that, see gold. Look at that gold standing out there. Very nice. So these are always, I'll get a little more out of there. These are always a fun material to go through. And as you saw there, it moves very easily, so it's a good beginner bag if you want to say, all right, well, I don't want to spend $100, but $40 postage paid. And you got a bunch of cool stuff to find. And a little vial included to put your gold in when you get it. That's pretty good. And it's some beautiful gold. Look at there, we've got some very nice pieces. And that's the less than kitchen strainer size. So like I said, it's not tiny, tiny flake gold. These are some nice little chunks. We got a little black sand hole there at the top. So, all right, there we go. Less than kitchen strainer size. Well, we've got the rest of our plus kitchen strainer size here. Where's my bottle? All right, like I said, I picked through most of the stuff in here, but there's still some little flakes of some quartz and stuff like that. That's very shiny, almost an iridescence to it. Yeah, there's a lot of those in there. I'm not sure what it is that they polish. Yeah, it's not showing up in this. But they come through with that, again, like an iridescence. Very white. Well, if you've got Hulu, I'm sure you know, but after 14 years, the king has returned. King of the Hill is back on Hulu. And for some dumbass reason, they released all of them at the same time, one big lump. You just make sense that you release them, if not one episode a week and a couple at a time to draw out the viewership on it. But yeah, and I have to say, I was not, I hadn't seen a lot of preview stuff about it, but just assuming, well, the way they butcher everything, that it was not going to be, it was probably not going to resemble King of the Hill that we remember, even though Mike Judge was, in charge, and he's not one prone to bend to that shit. And I'll be damned if it's, except for a couple minor things related, it was like going right back into pick it up 14 years later. of course, they had the tragic loss of Johnny Hardwick, the voice of Dale. And he was actually, his name appears, he was still, they got recordings from him before he passed through about half the show. And but even then, because I thought it was somebody already replacing him on some of the episodes that, whenever it was done, I saw his name at the end. Well, that didn't sound like him. So he was struggling even through the beginning part. And we lost John Redcorn, the actor, Joss, his last name. But yeah, he's about halfway through. They had a memoriam, in memory of, on an episode with him, or I guess it was at the end. So, and of course, we lost Brittany, the voice of Luann, and Tom Petty, who played Lucky, her husband. So, it was. But again, they stayed true to character. Bobby is as being older. He's 21 now, and Connie and Joseph, all the original. Like I said, I was amazed as I watched it and really enjoyed it, and I'm hoping that they'll for next season they'll have it renewed, and we'll be looking at a full 20 episodes, 22 episodes, like a real season of TV before they started doing this streaming crap and doing South Park set the tone for all these 10 episode seasons of crap from when they started back at 15 years ago. We got some copper. I can see most of our flakes. We got one flake that made it through. Oh, if I show you, right? We've got one flake there that made it through. So all of our gold was basically less than kitchen strainer size, but just barely, because as you saw, those were some chunky, a lot of little copper left down in there. So, all right, let's get this washed away. Make sure that's all that's up here. One sole survivor. So awesome. But yeah, like I said, I was very pleasantly surprised, and I don't know how they could have made Peggy more annoying than she was originally, but they managed to do that. That's just her. That is her character. But now instead of Mexico, or however she mispronounces Mexico, since they were in Saudi Arabia, because that's the premise. Hank went to work for a Saudi Arabian company as setting up propane, and they lived in like America Town over there that was more Texan than the Texas they came back to. But now she calls it Saudi. It's always Saudi Arabia. It's like they got to give her something stupid to fuck up. But yeah, like I said, I recommend it if you're a King of the Hill fan. You will not be disappointed. It's been a busy summer. Rick and Morty came out. They released went through their 10 episodes. I just had watched the last one. Came out a week or two ago, and I think it's probably the best episode of the season. I just still don't. I can hear the difference in the voices. I don't like it. I do not like that they ran Justin Roiland out of his own creation, and his improv on his character just can't be duplicated. The belches, he embodied Rick, and Morty at the same time, both of them. So there we go. Very nice. RJ's gold. Yeah, it's Bayou's gold. But yeah, it was like I said, there were some decent episodes for Rick and Morty this year, but again, too much. I thought they had too much Beth, and just some of the stuff that they cover. I mean, that they come up with is just what am I doing here? I think I sucked up my scrap water, and I sucked my gold back up with after I got the little bit of sediment out of the way. So, but yeah, it was it's mostly just the fact that I don't have to wait 2 years in between seasons that I appreciate the most. Even though again, I because I'll watch those, and then I'll go back and watch, the the original voices on them, and yeah. So there we go, Rick and Morty, King of the Hill, great. Bayou Gold guy going in to see how much gold we got out of here. So let's take it in. Well, there we have our RJ's gold, dried up and looking beautiful. So let's get our paper. Our scale was just calibrated. Oh, watch out. Oh, wow, very nice. 0.304 grams. Check that out. So, yeah, like I say, like it says on the description, usually it's about a quarter gram, unless RJ tells them to put in more. So, looks like I got a little extra on this one, on a generous load of some beautiful gold. Very nice. And we also have our smaller polished, and some rough garnets, along with some amethyst and a lot of the peacock ore, and then some polished along with the tiger eye. And we've also got our larger polished and our beautiful bismuth crystal. That's awesome. Again, the colors that come through on that, it's very cool. And some very nice polished stones, our vial to put our gold in. So, our fossil. So again, very nice. Always a good time with RJ's. Damn it, here I am jacking with the mic once again, narrating when it shows that they were synced and working. But at any rate, I got this bag on May 29th. Gold's going for $33.11 an ounce that day, with our 0.304 gram weight we ended up with. That gave us a $32.57 gold value. Our material cost is $40. I don't count postage on my stuff, so I deduct $10 off whenever the companies cover it themselves, not to penalize them. That gives us a $30 material value and a 109% ROI. So that's a great ROI. Like I said, this was a little bit beefier than the ones I've gotten before from them, so you never know. And we have to take one more look at our beautiful bismuth crystals. Yes, finally got that right. But these aren't just things that you throw in like a polished stone. These take some effort to make, and there's a little cost. So very cool to have not one but two of these. And again, you can see how cool the design is on that with the steps. And then this one where it goes down to the core, stair steps out. And it's unusual. This one has the flat side where it grew off wherever they were growing it from, as opposed to this one that must have grown off another one and had the, both sides kind of mirror each other. And I also received in a package, as you can see there, a little nitro, the world's hottest gummy bear. And I got this in from T-Rep, and he sent one to John R. Prospecting as well. And these are 9 million Scoville unit gummy bears, right there. Signature 9 million Scoville. Chili extract 900 times hotter than jalapeno. So we're going to be doing a challenge on this. It's like the one chip challenge that came out, and it tells you to send it to Little Nitro Challenge, their hashtag, to get on their website and film your challenge, chew it up, and see if you can go 5 minutes without having to get relief. So there it is, the deadly gummy. T-Rap. Last time he didn't fare so well. You're going to have to make sure that you, on the chip challenge, you got to make sure that you prep Of course, I have an iron stomach. It didn't bother me a bit. Now watch, that's going to bite me in the ass on this one. But there you go. Thank you, T-Rep. Appreciate it, brother. It's going to be fun, I guess. Fun in a sadistic kind of way. So again, a very nice little return on some RJ's pay dirt. And as I've said many times before, every pay dirt is different. Sometimes you'll get some with some extra gold. Sometimes you'll get some with a little less than normal. It just depends. A lot of times on the pricing, what's going on, just making up the bag. So, there's been times we get gold from that's been consistent from the same provider, dealer, and then you'll get some that's totally different all of a sudden. So again, when you're dealing with natural material, it's always possibility that it's going to run out or be changed. So this is really nice stuff, though. As you saw, it's crumbly and not little fine flakes. So some pretty gold. Thank you again to RJ and Eric for that. And thanks to all of you for tuning in and being with us once again for some gold pay dirt reviews here with Bayou Gold Guy. I am your host, Bayou Gold Guy, with the Wonder Dog, Gizmo, my big boy. And we're doing this, actually recording this early because I was anticipating work for this week and needed to get this one done. So we had some gold this week. But it's actually Liberation Day for DC as we're doing this, that Trump has called in the troops. And of course, libtards are freaking out and fighting against stopping crime in the streets. And and be clear, anytime you hear them talking about teens, the teens. America does not have a teen problem, a teen violence problem. These are black mobs of teens and younger even. And it's always the same suspects, the usual suspects in all of these, whether it's in Los Angeles, Chicago, any libtard city. And we just had another one where they demolished a row of stores, and it's just a regular weekly thing. But it's always, anytime you hear that dog whistle of teens, condemning and just insulting, degrading all teens. American teens do not have an issue with violence and crime. There's only one demographic, and it is finally starting to be addressed. And again, it is the same thing that's been going on since Obama. Black on black crime spreading over into other communities and bringing other victims into their violence. So Trump is going to, and in the Senate, you see the city, the media's played it up, but the citizens of Washington that they're walking out there talking to and they're interacting with they said they're already showing are like, yes, it is time for this. It's only the libtards and the politicians and even the media, even the people that work down there that hate Trump are having to admit, they've been mugged, they've been robbed, they've had their friends robbed. So, again, it's MAGA taking over and making it right. And we are going to make America great again. And I guarantee that this is going to be a template, a blueprint for every shithole city that has this problem coming up. This is the first step of many that are going to be clearing out crime in these shithole cities to make way for the new America that is reviving and going to bring back greatness to this country. So it starts with laws and following laws and not even making new laws, just enforce the ones we have. That's all you got to do. Same thing with my immigration. It's already there. All you got to do is enforce them, and look what has happened. So from a year ago today to where we are now, incredible. And thanks to the great man, and thanks to all of you. And till the next time, this is Bayou Gold Guy saying, keep the faith, take care of each other, and peace out, my friends. Right, big boy? He's ready to go outside.